Justin Fields is made for Chicago because this is a tough kid, man.
Yeah.
This is mental, physical toughness. Remember against Clemson, he threw it, right? Did he not show you some grit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's over. And I think it was complicated, and I think it was occasionally exhilarating, and it was extremely disappointing.
Amidst the intensity of the 2021 NFL Draft, Justin Fields emerged as a beacon of hope for the Chicago Bears, who were seeking a transformative quarterback to revive their team. With a stellar college career and impressive pro day under his belt, Fields was touted as one of the top quarterback prospects in the nation, poised to redefine a franchise. With Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance all off the board with the first 3 picks, the Chicago Bears secured Fields at pick 11. However, the weight of expectations grew heavier as he donned the Chicago Bears jersey and struggled to deal with an unsteady offense and relentless scrutiny. Now, amidst doubts and setbacks, Fields must rediscover his potential under a new banner in Pittsburgh. This is his story so far. In spring 2021, Justin Fields was on top of the world. He had just finished his second season at Ohio State and was ready to forego his senior year of college and head to the NFL Draft. He had just secured his second consecutive Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year award, a unanimous first-team All-Conference selection, and the Big Ten MVP award. Although the Buckeyes lost to Alabama in the 2021 National Championship, the 2019 Heisman Trophy finalist was still at the top of his game. In the Sugar Bowl against the third-seeded Clemson side, Fields was known as a dual-threat quarterback all throughout his college career. While his passing numbers were terrific at Ohio State, his rushing numbers were just as attractive and greatly bolstered by his reputation. He gained popularity as a rusher early on in his college career, in part thanks to a 100-yard rushing game when he was just a freshman at the University of Georgia. At his pro day in 2021, the former Buckeye quarterback ran an insane 4.44-second 40-yard dash, grabbing the attention of the entire league. This was just the beginning of what some people were calling the best pro day ever. In the throwing portion, the 6'3" quarterback was dropping dimes everywhere on the field, receiving an immense amount of praise for his accuracy and arm strength. Scouts and analysts took note, whilst videos from the session quickly went viral. Louis Riddick of ESPN said, in the context of what pro days are and what they aren't, Justin Fields was fire today. With good NFL staff, he's going to be a star. Super impressive young man. NFL draft scout Matt Miller posted on Twitter that he had a scout text him that was the best quarterback workout I've seen in a while. His performance was being talked about everywhere, and Fields' draft stock continued to rise. The Bleacher Report scouting department graded Fields out at a 9.2, indicating potential all-pro talent. While Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and one of Mac Jones or Trey Lance commonly filled out the top 3 picks on most mock drafts in 2021, NFL experts were predicting mayhem after that, with teams fighting over who would eventually get Justin Fields. Draft analyst Chad Royer had even predicted that the Denver Broncos would trade all the way up to the number 7 pick to try and snag him. When draft night came, the Chicago Bears decided that they would be the team to trade up and steal the supposed all-pro talent from the rest of the league. The New York Giants traded their 11th pick to the Chicago Bears and in return received the 20th and 164th picks, in addition to 2022 first and fourth round selections. The city of Chicago was ecstatic, and with their new franchise quarterback in place, the Bears were prepared to turn their team around, beginning the hunt for their first Super Bowl since Walter Payton succeeded in 1986. What they didn't know at the time was that the next few years would be just as miserable as the years prior, and they would be drafting the next franchise quarterback after just 3 seasons. When Justin Fields arrived in Chicago, there was immediately a mountain of pressure on him. The Chi-Town faithful were restless. They'd been waiting for the next good quarterback ever since Jay Cutler, the all-time leading passer for the Bears, had left Chicago in 2016 to finish his NFL career with the Miami Dolphins. In the 4 years between Cutler and Fields, the Bears endured the likes of Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles, and Mike Glennon, 3 quarterbacks who completely underwhelmed. During that 4-year stretch, the Bears made a playoff appearance twice in the wildcard weekends of 2018 and 2020 with a combined record of 0-2. Bears fans were ready to be back in the hunt for postseason success. Fields, being an early first-round pick, was awarded sky-high expectations, and although it wasn't entirely his fault, he fell dramatically short. The offensive situation that Fields was drafted into was far from ideal. To start, his wide receiver options were scarce. Darnell Mooney was wide receiver 1 on that 2021 Bears team, a promising young talent, but not someone who had proved himself as a difference maker. He had just finished a decent rookie season in 2020, with just over 600 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns, but was propelled into the spotlight immediately the following season as a wide receiver 1. Fields had to rely heavily on tight end Cole Kmet throughout the 2021 season, who actually finished with the second most receiving yards on the team. Due to his lack of weapons at the receiver position and an offensive scheme that didn't allow Fields to truly be himself in the run game, the Bears struggled to put up points. Although they finished 3rd in the NFC North, they scored the least number of points in their division and finished 27th in scoring across the NFL. In addition to the weak offensive weapons, the Bears' front line needed help. They finished 22nd in PFF's end-of-season O-line rankings, an even worse season than 2020. There were several games in which it appeared they couldn't block anyone, finishing the year dead last in the NFL in sacks allowed with 58. While the 2021 Bears lacked quality wide receivers, dealt with a handful of injuries, and suffered through offensive line woes, we can't blame all of Fields' mishaps on the people around him. There were plenty of things Fields could have done better during his time in Chicago that could have prevented the franchise from giving up on him after just 3 seasons. One of the most significant issues Justin struggled with was his field vision and lack of pocket awareness. When dealing with the pass rush, especially early in his career, the former Heisman finalist would panic, and sometimes just freeze.
And in the second year, he's out there throwing to Pringles and Pettises and Equanimouses. I mean, he was not set up to win. It was bad. But on the other side, Justin Fields, you better believe there were so many plays to be made. This is a 10-28 quarterback. 10-28. So guys who are defending Fields, listen, I love Fields. If he had a different lineman out there or he had a different receiver, what is he, 13-25? Does that really make you feel better? There were so many times, especially in year 2, when he had the ball at the end of the game and blew it. This Cleveland game this last year, ridiculous. So yes, Justin Fields, I like him. He blew it. The Bears, I like him. I like them. They blew it. And the grand finale of all of it was the last game of this year when they go to Lambeau Field. In the last game, Fields will ever play as a Bear with the chance to knock the Packers out of the playoffs, and they scored 9 points. So listen, there is fault on both sides, and that's okay. You don't have to be on a debate show or a political debate and say it's all this, it's all this. Stop doing that. Fields blew it, the Bears blew it, and if you're saying it's only one person's fault, you blew it.
Although we talked about how awful the Bears' offensive line was, Fields was heavily criticized for holding onto the ball for too long in the pocket, which is a big part of the reason why he was sacked so often. This was emphasized by ESPN's Paul Hembekides, who tweeted, "Justin Fields has taken 10 sacks this season, 9 of which have come after 4+ seconds. Since 2021, he has taken 79 of those sacks, 4+ seconds, 16 more than any quarterback in the NFL." Paul further emphasized that the stat was a result of Fields' poor decision-making, and not just the lackluster O-line. Signing off with a simple, yes, sacks are a quarterback stat, was pretty damning. One of the more frustrating parts about Justin's mistakes in Chicago was that there wasn't much improvement throughout his 3-year stint. His best statistical year was in 2023, his last year with the franchise, but that doesn't mean it was a good one. In that year, Fields ranked 23rd in quarterback rating among the league starters. He barely broke 2,500 passing yards on the season and threw 9 interceptions with just 16 touchdowns. The boost in his numbers was definitely supported by the arrival of DJ Moore, his first true wide receiver one in the NFL. There's certainly a case to be made that he would have performed even better with the stronger cast of offensive playmakers that Caleb Williams will enjoy, but it was too little too late. Chicago had seen enough and decided that they needed a change. They couldn't keep waiting around to see if a guy like Fields could eventually develop into one of the league's premier talents, especially when the 2024 draft was filled with so much quarterback quality. On March 16th, the Bears made it official, and Justin was sent to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 6th-round pick.
It doesn't make sense to me that Ryan Pace in 2021 gave away the number 20 overall pick, a 5th rounder at 164. In addition to that, 2022 1st rounder and a 4th rounder to move up.
They did.
3 seasons later, with multiple head coaches and multiple offensive coordinators, it's 0 players around him that made any sense to help a young quarterback survive.
Except for DJ Moore last year,
Except for DJ Moore a year ago.
Yes. Okay.
That they would move on from him.
Move on.
And then they finally did.
Fields is now about to enter the most challenging and critical point in his career. This offseason with the Steelers, Fields has been battling veteran Russell Wilson, who was traded to Pittsburgh from Denver this offseason. While most reports say that Wilson looks like he will be the starter this fall, Fields has only said good things about his time in Pittsburgh, and it seems like he's enjoying it better than his time in Chicago. Fields had this to say about his experience so far in his new home. "Me being in 2 different places now, I realize you don't get this culture everywhere. You can see it, just the way we attack each and every day. Coach Mike Tomlin, he stays on us about it. So I think just having that, reiterating that each and every day, that keeps guys on their toes. Not only is Justin enjoying the culture in Pittsburgh more, but he's finally with a team that fits his play style. Fields has always been best suited to operate within a run-based offense, and that's exactly what the Steelers look like they're trying to do. In the 2024 draft, the Steelers used their first 2 picks to strengthen their offensive line. They picked up offensive tackle Troy Fautanu and center Zach Frazier, who will both improve the Steelers' run-blocking game. Pittsburgh also used their 3rd-round pick to select former Michigan receiver Roman Wilson, who can block just as well as he can catch the ball. If Fields wants the chance to start in Pittsburgh and prove his worth in a productive offense, he'll need a strong preseason showing. Wilson is currently being labeled the clear favorite, and it's not hard to see why. Wilson has more than 5 times the number of career starts than Fields, with 204, which includes a Super Bowl victory. The veteran has much higher accuracy in the passing game, and with a quarterback like Russell Wilson under center, the Steelers know what they're going to get. Fields' potential is still up in the air, and despite the Steelers appearing to prefer the safer bet of Wilson, you never know. The question is, can Justin Fields outperform Russell Wilson and steal the starting position this fall? What do you think? Let us know in the comments.